What is up, guys? So I got back from a very much needed vacation, and what I want to do in this video is not so much talk about the things that I did in my vacation, because I mean, let's face it, everything I did was awesome. The thing I want to talk about is traveling alone and the benefits of traveling alone and the negative aspects of it as well. So originally for my vacation, I had intended on having a second person come along. That didn't happen, and I kind of, went along asking people if they wanted to go, because it was pretty much almost an all expenses paid trip. And in a way, the people that I asked, I was kind of in my head like begging them to decline and say no, because I kind of wanted to do this on my own. So one of the things that I learned was how to be self-sufficient and more independent, and not relying on someone else to make plans, or doing things that like I would just kind of go along with. So the places that I stopped in, I had plans of doing stuff. Like, I didn't want to stay in my room, because I felt like as soon as I got to the room and unpacked and like settled, I got anxious, because I was like, what am I gonna do? And so I would Google places that were nearby, and I would just go out and do it. And I met some pretty amazing people along the way, and from all different places. Like, all the people that I met were not from the place I was at, and that was pretty cool. Like, everybody's kind of going out and exploring, and that was one of the things that got me the most, was doing my own thing. And every decision I made was on me, whether the decision was a good decision or a bad decision. And it taught me a lot about myself. And I learned that I don't have to be codependent on people. And I don't always have to, seek approval from, another person. I can just kind of, have this thought and plan in my head and just kind of go along with it and not really care about what anyone else really thinks of it. And I think more people should do that, because people do become codependent on others, whether, they're going through a hard time, or, want to celebrate, and, they reach out to another person. And I'm not saying like reaching out to somebody is a bad thing, but like, if you want to go out and do something, you don't need someone else to go do it with you. And it's such an amazing feeling having that happen. Like me going into Nashville, like I walked downtown by myself, and I hit up breweries, I hit up restaurants on my own, and I would like talk with cashiers and the waitresses, and like everybody that I met, like I would just converse. The only awkward downside was when I was in New Orleans, just kind of meandering around the French Quarter. One of the things that I felt, in New Orleans is that I should have someone there, because I didn't really have, I wouldn't say the best experience, but I didn't experience New Orleans to its full potential. But after New Orleans, everything just kind of fell into place, especially with Nashville. In between Nashville, when I stopped at Cummins Falls, I met a lot of people. I met a lot of foreigners. I talked to this guy who was from Honduras, and there were a lot of Thai and Filipino people there too. And I think I met some really phenomenal people when I was in Chincoteague. I met some really cool people on that island who were not from there, and even the people who were from the island were exceptionally like polite and generous and just all around like amazing people. I can honestly say like Chincoteague was my favorite place. And then kind of once I got to New York and spent time with family, like I realized how amazing it was to spend all that time alone and inside my head. And usually when I'm inside my own head, it's usually a bad thing. But this time it really wasn't. Like, it was a truly eye-opening experience. And I think everyone should just go out, get in their cars, figure out a playlist, listen to music, and just go. Just go somewhere and meet people, talk to people you've never met before, people who are older than you, people who are younger than you, people who aren't the same race as you. It's truly eye-opening. And my sister, who lives in Houston, she had recommended me watching this movie Elizabethtown. If you've never seen it, watch it. It's an amazing movie. Like, Orlando Bloom's character is like at his rock bottom, and he has this overall plan of committing suicide, and he meets Kirsten Dunst, who kind of changes his world around and changes his perspective on life. And similarly, that's kind of where I was at a little over a month ago. Like, I was in a very, very dark place. Like, it got to the point where I had to give up my gun to one of my best friends because I had no intention of doing anything with it or to myself, but the dark thought was there, and I didn't want at any point to act out on it. And yeah, that's where I was at. I was in this very dark, emotional headspace, and I was bitter towards certain people, and I realized like I can't go on go on with life like living like that, like being bitter towards people. And so I truly experienced myself in a whole new realm, and I can honestly say I'm a completely different person because of it. And I think more people should explore themselves while exploring other unknowns, because no one knows you better than yourself. But if you're constantly like codependent on others, you kind of lose yourself in the process. And I was losing myself. Like, I picked up mannerisms and shit from my friends, and they are they and I am me, and no one can say who I am other than myself. Kind of sounded confusing, but it makes sense in my head. But I think everyone should experience themselves, know, understand, and most of all, love themselves. Like, I have a whole new philosophy on the way I want my life to go and who I want to be a part of it. And I think everyone should experience that and at some point have that eye-opening experience. So hopefully, people who are watching this, they need to do some soul searching, and I recommend that it gets done. So that's all I want to say. It's a beautiful day in Albuquerque, and I hope everyone has a good day. And don't forget to smile, because it's definitely contagious.